So a question that I was asked recently is, Mike, at what stage do I go 100% all in, burn the boats, and completely dial in on being 100% commission-based remote sales rep, where I have no more safety net, I eat what I kill, at what stage? Now, this is gonna vary from person to person. Here's why. If you're a young individual, when I say young individual, for example, 18 to 25. At 18 to 25, at least looking back in my life when I was at that age, I had very low overhead. I wasn't paying for rent at 18 years old. I don't think I had any bills. I didn't have shit to worry about for the most part. So with that being said, the younger you are, that's the best time to start something where it's 100% commission based. You're not gonna feel the financial pressure. Really, you're getting paid to learn a new skill. You're in that learning mode. You're in that mode of where you're just trying to figure it out. You're just trying to find your voice. You're just trying to improve your skill sets. And you basically earn while you grow. Earn while you earn, pretty much. So while you're learning, you're earning. And if you're fortunate enough to have time on your side where, again, you don't have a mortgage, you don't have 2, 3, 4, 5 kids, definitely that's the best window and opportunity to literally go all in. Don't look left, don't look right, don't have another hourly job. And again, this is just my opinion, and this is just information if you want to really catch the momentum quick. Because success loves speed. The faster you could continue failing forward, the faster you're gonna figure this thing out, and the faster you'll start printing cash really quick. So what I would do, don't have a plan A, a plan B, just go all in at a point where you're starting to consistently make sales, right? Or even from the jump, if you're that young, screw it, go all in from jump. You'll figure it out. You don't have a bill to worry about. You're good to go. Now, the reason why I say that is if you're willing to go all in, and when I say all in, it's the only thing you're doing, you're putting in 4 to 8 hours a day, there's a learning curve. And that learning curve is going to shorten a hell of a lot faster if you're putting in 8 hours a day compared to somebody who's only willing to put in 1 hour every other day. That person who's doing 1 hour every other day will eventually see success, but maybe next week, maybe next month, maybe 20 years from now, right? But if you condense that time frame and do what that person does in a month in a single day, and you do that over the course of a week, over the course of a month, over the course of a year, you're gonna make leaps and bounds in your skill sets. You're gonna make leaps and bounds in where you're at. So that's the best time as a younger individual to start, those ages when you have no responsibility. And everybody's situation is completely different. So obviously use some common sense with where you're at in your life. I have no idea where you're at in life right now. Use your thinking, but hopefully this could shed some light on just my opinion on things. Now, on the flip side of things, let's say that you're somebody that has a family, you have rent, you have a mortgage, you have massive responsibilities, and you haven't done commission sales yet, or you're in the process of doing commission sales, but for whatever reason, it hasn't clicked yet. You haven't, figured out the skills. And that's okay, because a lot of individuals like myself don't come into this running from day one. There's a lot of people that do. They just naturally skilled at it. They figure things out really quick and they make it happen. But a lot of us take some time to learn, to develop, to gain that confidence, etc. So if you're in that bucket, I definitely, and it's a catch-22 because I wouldn't suggest, okay, burn the bridges completely and then you're broke and can't pay your mortgage, you can't put food on the table, you can't provide for your family. But at the same time, and I'm gonna butcher this story, but in Think and Grow Rich, the chapter on desire, the author Napoleon Hill, tells a story about how The two countries were at war, and basically the one country took a boat to the competing place, and they were going to go to war, and the general literally burnt the boats, and the troops were like, what the hell? And the general was just like, listen, we either win or we perish. And guess what happened? They won. So when you have that attitude of, I'm going all in, I'm going to figure this out, over, under, through, I'm getting this done, there's immense power in that, because you get super resourceful, you pull out resources within yourself that you never knew you had, compared to if in the back of your head you have, okay, I have a plan B. If this doesn't work out, I have a plan B. So where I'm going with that is it's definitely a fine line, because you don't want to give yourself an out, but at the same time, you don't want to go broke. So what I suggest is, if you're in that situation, if you're able to save up from your prior job 2-3 months of expenses, if you can't figure this out in 90 days or less, I mean, I can't put a time frame on anyone, but I feel 90 days or less is a realistic amount of time to really figure this thing out and really develop the skills that you need. But have that nest egg so that you're not financially stressed. Your wife or husband isn't breathing on your neck like, dude, we have no money to pay the bills or whatever. And work like a dog in that time frame. I wouldn't suggest having a part-time job necessarily. Again, it's hard to, because if you have that part-time job, believe me, you're gonna have in the back of my mind, I have that safety net. Whereas if you don't, you have one course of action to figure this out. You either sink or swim. So again, use your judgment when it comes to this. There's no right or wrong way. Again, just to be very frank, if you're at a stage in life where you're a young pup and you don't have a bunch of responsibilities, go all in. If you do have more responsibilities, then you have to be a little wiser and a little bit more resourceful with what it is that you're doing with your finances and figuring things out. But with me, I got started relatively young, so I could relate to the younger side of things, where I didn't have much overhead, I didn't have much financial responsibility. So I was able to literally go 2 months without making a sale and literally starving. My bills were paid, I wasn't going to get kicked out. The company I was working with actually provided housing, so it was a very easy thing to transition to. The last thing you want to do is put yourself in a situation where you're financially stressed. And guys, I'll be transparent. I've been there before, where the commissions are coming in, you have rent, you have a mortgage, the credit card bills are piling up, this, that, and the other. It's not a place for you to be resourceful in. You're gonna really shoot yourself in the foot, and you're gonna come across with commission breath. So what the hell is commission breath? You're gonna be sitting down with a prospect, you're gonna be explaining to him or her over the phone the benefits and the pros and benefits of the service that you have going on. And they're going to be able to sense through that call that you need this sale. And if they sense that, they're out. It's not good. The thing with sales is you have to care, but don't care, if that makes sense. You have to care, but don't care. So present the product, let them know, hey, listen, this is what we could do for you. Does it make sense? Does it not? If it does, help them out. If it doesn't, point them in the right direction. When you could walk and talk with that kind of posture and that kind of, listen, I have so many leads, I don't need to bang this down your throat to get this, to make this happen. You carry yourself in a different way, and you carry yourself with a more attractive energy towards that prospect, and they could sense that. I remember being in multiple different sales opportunities, and the poor young gentleman hasn't made a sale in months, and he's sitting down with the prospect, trying so desperately hard for them to buy, not realizing that he's just repelling that sale. He's not doing himself any good. He's doing himself a lot of harm, actually. Until, and it's a catch-22, because when you don't have a dollar to your name, when you have no idea how you're going to pay your bills, when when you have no idea how you're going to provide, how do you trick yourself? How do you carry yourself to have that confidence, that demeanor, that posture that, yeah, I don't care if you buy or not, right? I have a million other people to reach out to. So that's just my 2 cents on when you should potentially look into going all in. If you're younger, do it right from the jump. Don't even think about it. If you're more mature, you have to be more strategical in your approach. Make sure you have some resources. Make sure you figure things out. And if you have resources, treat this like your life. Burn the boats. Go all in. Go all in. That's the biggest thing I could say, is go all in, because the faster you can go all in, the faster you'll figure things out, the faster you'll start making money, and you can literally compress time frames to start seeing success in a shorter amount of time. So I hope that helps with trying to figure out when I should really focus and really get rid of the part-time job, or if I even should have a part-time job. Another thing I forgot to mention, though, I'll keep this brief, but let's say you do have a part-time role that you're working 5 to 8 hours a week, or whatever the number is. It doesn't even, that's irrelevant. But let's say you do have a part-time role and you're working as a 100% remote sales rep, and you notice that your commissions on the remote sales opportunity or the commission-only environment is the same or higher than what it is that you're earning at your part-time or your full-time job on the side. Now, if you do that, and I like to say the magical number for me is 3 months, 90 days. Why? Because sales and business could be cyclical, right? It's up and down. 1 month it could be hot, 1 month not so hot, the other month is hot again, right? For example. Eventually the point should try to be hot all 3 months, right? Or as close to that as possible. So if you have a commission-only position that you're making the same or more than your full-time or part-time job on the side, and you've done that 3 consecutive months in a row, I feel you have a long enough track record to say, okay, this isn't a fluke. I know what I'm doing. I have consistent leads. As long as things keep consistent like this, then we're good to go. If you're able to do that, then 100% let go of that second stream of income and go all in, double down on your efforts, and really maximize the remote sales commission-only environment opportunity. And then with that being said, another thing that you want to do is you don't want to burn and this is just basic common sense, guys. I really shouldn't even be bringing this up, but again, we need to be reminded more than we need to be taught. Don't burn every single cent that you make, right? Put 30% away, put 20% away. I would actually say 30%, because you're going to save some from taxes when that's time, and you're going to put away another percentage of that for a rainy day, right? Just bank that in a savings account. Don't touch it. What I like to personally do is I have that automated, so every single time money hits my account, an X amount of percentage gets automated into another account. And honestly, I don't even realize that I don't even think about it, because it's automatic. If you leave things to manual labor, manually moving the money from here to there, I mean, it doesn't take long to do that, but you most likely won't be consistent with it. With this being automated, I don't have to think about it. I don't have to remind myself. I don't have to do anything extraordinary other than keep doing me and keep making money, because every time I make money, a certain percentage of that check gets reallocated to a savings account. And with me sleeping, with me being unconscious, with me not even knowing, I'm building that nest egg. So if I do ever, knock on wood, it doesn't happen, but life does happen, things could change, the industry could go, I mean, I've only been doing this consistently for 5+ years, multiple 6 figures for that time. So, but being realistic, things could change, you know, things could go down south at any point in time, and it buys you a lot of confidence knowing that you have a little nest egg. So I hope that advice helps. Take from that conversation what you need, and yeah, until next time, see you then.